Scooby Doo is one of the most recognizable cartoon characters of all time and is a character with a lot of appearances as well. Scooby Doo has had countless shows with different quirks and differentiators and a whole lot of movies as well. Scooby has been in live action, 3D, collabs with Kiss and WWE, and in countless other wacky scenarios. And while these shows and movies have things that make them special, there's one show which blows everything else out of the water. Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated is a show which aired in 2012. It had 2 seasons and 52 episodes total, but what it did in that time was something truly special. The show is basically made of the idea of breaking the rules of Scooby Doo. It still has the basic premise of kids and dogs solving mysteries, catching bad guys, but everything else is changed and for the better, and is definitely worth your time to go and check out. The biggest difference between Mystery Incorporated and all the other Scooby-Doo stories is continuity. Although Mystery Incorporated has the episodic mystery of the week aspect, it has a continuity which needs to be watched in order for the story to make sense. Each individual mystery that we see is all a part of a bigger mystery which isn't concluded until the show ends, and even then there's still room for speculation and bits of a new mystery for the audience to figure out. And by having Mystery Incorporated include continuity means there's a lot more which can be done within these individual mysteries. Now, you wouldn't just have the characters introduced in a certain episode as suspects, but anyone we've ever met in the town could be a suspect in the mystery. The show takes place in the town of Crystal Cove, and we have so many great characters. Of course, we have the main gang of teenagers, but we also have an amazing cast of reoccurring characters. Characters like the sheriff, voiced by Patrick Warburton, who is just iconic, hilarious, or supporting characters like Angel Dynamite, Mayor Jones, Mrs. Dinkley, Hot Dog Water, Skipper Shelton, or Mr. E are all just amazing. We also have plenty of homages to just old classic Scooby-Doo. We have a museum filled with past Scooby-Doo villains. We see the Hex Girls in quite a few episodes. And instead of having Vincent Van Gogh as some magician like we see, for example, in 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, he's a corny horror movie star who's past his fame, which is such a fun way to reuse him here in the modern show. Also, the villains themselves, they need a lot of respect. The show probably has the best villains in all of Scooby-Doo. While the original show has definitely the most iconic villains, the ones in this show are just next level. We have people like Aphrodite, who creates this hippie apocalypse, which was such a fun episode. Baba Yaga from Russian folklore, who made me love that part of Russian folklore so much. We have a Lovecraftian monster, which is so fun. Crybaby Clown, voiced by Mark Hamill, that was amazing. We had demon babies, Krampus, a creature from German mythology who punished brats. We had the Freak of Crystal Cove, zombies who spread their infection not by biting people but by singing ska music, and just a bunch of very fun and extremely interesting villains. We also get so many different types of villain reveals, and it isn't always that same formula. Sometimes we have a red herring, but sometimes it's the original suspect. Sometimes the villain is a character we've met so many times before. Sometimes we don't know who it is even when the mask is pulled off. Sometimes we never find out the identity. Sometimes the villains even get away and they never get caught, or they are after they're caught. There are so many different twists in the classic Mystery of the Week format, and the writers are so creative in giving us new ways so the show never feels stale or repetitive, which is something I really appreciate. And also, the show actually gets scary. I never, and I mean never, get scared watching movies or TVs anymore. I wish I could, but I can't. But while rewatching the show for the first time, I got scared watching something in years. It isn't ever jump scares, but there are scenes and moments, character designs, music, vocal performances, which are just honestly scary. I don't know how this show was made for children, but looking back, there's a lot of really scary stuff, and I really enjoy that about it. Another one of the show's best aspects is the development of the main characters. Since we have a continual story, all the characters get to be developed, and I really enjoy what they did with it. The best character in the show is Fred, in my opinion. He becomes so developed, he is also very funny, and he seems to have autism, which is really interesting. It isn't ever explicitly stated, but just so much of the character feels like he's autistic for different traits, which are spoilers, so I won't get into it that much. But if so, it just makes him even more interesting and makes me like him here even more. All the characters are taken to very interesting places development-wise. By the end of the show, it seems impossible that we're following the same characters from Scooby Doo of the show, Scooby Doo, Where Are You? Because they have completely broken past all these stereotypes and turned each character into something very, very interesting. We have romance stories, friendships being questioned, and as the big mystery of the show gets solved, the friendship of the group is even put into question, and we basically see alternate versions of the gang and every way they could go wrong and turn against each other and become evil. And for that big mystery, I love how much of it is based on actual history and actual mythology. It is weaved into the tapestry of our real-world history so masterfully, that big mystery, where even though it's like a sci-fi show as well as Scooby-Doo, it feels grounded in some weird way, which is so fun to watch unfold across the 2 seasons. And the last thing, the show just has a charm. There are episodes where we don't get much development towards the main mystery, but you don't ever really care. Just Scooby-Doo on its own has a charm, but here as well, it's different. The town, the mystery, the reoccurring characters, the character development. After a while, you begin to just fall in love with a story no matter how wacky it gets. It is the same type of feeling when you get watching Gravity Falls, how that small town vibe gets transferred to us, the audience, while we're watching. Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated is a show I watched so long ago, and I have so much nostalgia for it, but it still holds up today. Rewatching it for this video was so fun, and hopefully, whether for the first time or as a rewatch, you'll check it out, and when you're done, come back here as I will be making plenty of other videos covering the show. Thanks for watching, and what do you think? Does the show sound interesting, and will you be checking it out? All that and more, make sure to leave in the comments down below. Here's a video where I discuss animated television and its best moments. Check it out because Mystery Incorporated does show up, so yeah, watch it. Subscribe for plenty of other videos where I'll be covering Mystery Incorporated, animation, and with Halloween coming, probably more Scooby-Doo content. I have been Fictional Fanatics. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, bye!